I am often asked to make videos about the stocks on my watch list. Just recently, one of them rocketed to the top of my dip finder after falling over 53% in just one day. That stock was Globe Life, ticker symbol GL. Globe Life is an insurance company whose stock saw stellar performance over the past decade. They generate high margin and reliable cash flows. That cash generation has been used to reward shareholders through dividend growth and massive share repurchases. So what happened? Why did the stock suddenly crash? Well, a short seller research group named Fuzzy Panda identified Globe Life as one of its targets. They published a long, multi-layered report on the company claiming it was involved in large-scale fraud throughout their insurance practices. There was a wide swath of accusations across financial, legal, and cultural issues. Of course, you must keep in mind that the report was not independent and was published and crafted with the intent of driving down Globe Life stock. Fuzzy Panda wanted to profit on their short position, which was disclosed. It worked. GL stock plummeted. Since then, Globe Life has issued a statement refuting the claims and even going as far as saying that they will take legal action against the entities behind Fuzzy Panda. However, the stock is still down 49.2% from its 200-day price average. That brings us to the main question of the video. Is Globe Life stock a screaming buy after the recent crash, or is it an investment to stay away from? Throughout the video, I will highlight important points in both Fuzzy Panda's report and Globe Life's response. Finally, I'll analyze the financials and valuation of Globe Life stock, ultimately sharing my thoughts on whether or not to buy. My name is Zach, this is Dividend Data, and you should leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. Throughout, I'll be using my stock research and portfolio tracking tool, dividenddata.com. Link in the description and pinned comment. First, let's look at some of the allegations made in Fuzzy Panda's report. Globe Life is a life and health insurance company that sells policies through multiple subsidiaries. The biggest subsidiary is American Income Life, AIL, which accounts for 39% of total premiums and 50% of total underwriting profits. AIL is the core part of Fuzzy Panda's analysis. They wrote over 10,000 words and made a brief video going over their thoughts. I'll play a partial clip of that video here.
We are short Globe Life. Interviews with dozens of former employees and analysis of hundreds of documents revealed widespread fraud at one of America's biggest life insurance companies and its largest subsidiary, American Income Life, which sells life insurance to working-class Americans. American Income Life is so important to Globe Life that it generates 50% of total profits. Former employees we've interviewed told us that American Income Life sales reps forge customer signatures to write fake policies, create policies for dead people, create fake policies by signing up customers without their consent, and commit actuarial fraud by lying about whether policyholders smoke. AIL agents describe themselves as the new wolves of Wall Street.
People ask me all the time, Nick, how are you able to do so many trips and travel so much at 25 years old? The answer is I sell life insurance with Globe Life, American Income Life Division. I dropped out of college at 19 years old, and I've been able to generate millions of dollars in revenue since then.
There's multiple people in the company in their very first year easily clearing six figures, and I'm making $1,000 sales every single day.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
22 and made over $300,000. College education?
No college education.
Investors mistakenly think this problem is only limited to one sales team led by Simon Arias, a sales team that former agents say is known for insurance fraud, rampant drug use, sexual harassment, and bad motivational speeches.
If you see the no's as ways to you getting closer to winning, and the wins as you truly winning, then you can't lose.
But we have discovered fraud at numerous other top-performing sales teams across the United States. These teams account for more than 60% of their new business. We are just beginning to examine if these issues are also pervasive at Globe Life's smaller subsidiaries, Liberty National or United American. How has this happened at a storied 70-year-old company? Former executives and agents told us that the fraud began in 2017 after Steve Greer took over as CEO and then David Zofin became president.
From 2017 on, it became a lot more rampant and a lot bigger numbers. You never had that before.
Zofin and Globe Life executives are not only aware of widespread insurance fraud, but legal complaints state that Zofin and a Globe Life senior vice president engaged in their own illegal kickback and bribery scheme. The executives lied to regulators, concealing their ownership of a course to prep for licensing exams they used to make money by upcharging their own recruits. It's estimated executives pocketed more than $65 million. Meanwhile, the sales teams make no effort to hide the fact that they're running an MLM bordering on an illegal pyramid scheme. Reviews reveal recruiting is compensated better than actually selling life insurance. Many call the sales organizations a pyramid scheme. We went undercover and interviewed to join the sales teams. In multiple interviews, recruiters explained to us how we would have an upline and that we could make more money recruiting people than selling insurance. We have discovered widespread allegations of fraud. We believe the sheer volume of bad policies will impact Globe Life's bottom line, and executives could face federal and state prosecution. Will Globe Life clean house and save itself, or will they allow the fraud to continue? Either way, we are short Globe Life.
So that is a brief overview of the main ideas behind Fuzzy Panda's short selling report. I will link the write-up and video in the description. I would also like to put a major disclaimer that all of this is just alleged at this time. Fuzzy Panda has massive incentives with their short position to make it seem as bad as possible. Throughout their report and the edited video, they include countless unrelated examples of social proof. That is an attempt to increase emotional resonance, but it also clouds from the core issue of fraud that is being alleged. Many people hate social media influencer hype, the sales industry in general, and especially multi-level marketing schemes. However, none of that is actually illegal, despite the fact it annoys many. The inclusion of this makes me start to question the motives of Fuzzy Panda. Globe Life has since responded to these claims. I will provide the link in the description. Here's what they said.
We are disappointed today to see self-motivated short sellers push inflammatory allegations in order to drive down Globe Life's stock price. We reviewed the report and found it to be wildly misleading, mixing anonymous allegations with recycled points pushed by plaintiff law firms to coerce Globe Life into settlements. The motivations behind this short seller's report are driven solely by short-term profit and on the backs of the thousands of shareholders, hard-working employees, independent contractor sales agents, and customers who know and trust our brand and strong track record. We have successfully defended ourselves against these types of claims. The short seller analysis by Fuzzy Panda research mischaracterizes facts and uses unsubstantiated claims and conjecture to present an overall picture of Globe Life that is deliberately false, misleading, and defamatory. Globe Life intends to explore all means of legal recourse against the parties responsible.
Globe Life is strongly pushing back against the short sellers. It intends to use legal means. This makes sense as the company saw over half of its market value evaporated in just one day. That is over $5 billion. So what do I think of Globe Life stock? After the massive crash, the stock recovered 20%, which is still only a fraction of the loss. At a current stock price of $59.09, the stock is trading at one of the cheapest prices since the March 2020 pandemic crash. Non-GAAP earnings per share continue to grow at a high rate, mostly fueled by the massive share repurchases we'll discuss later. This in turn drives the stock price up. Revenue per share is growing at a 7.5% 10-year compound annual growth rate. Fiscal 2023 showed 93.6% gross margins and 17% net margins. Net income per share is growing at a 10.13% 10-year CAGR. Free cash flow per share is growing at a 6.33% 10-year CAGR. In 2023, Globe Life stock generated $14.87 of annual free cash flow per share. At the new stock price of $59, that means the stock is now trading at only 3.97 times annual free cash flow. This is an insane valuation for a company with a long history of strong performance. It is extremely rare to find a stock trading at this kind of valuation. Despite the high per share growth rates, the actual growth of raw free cash flow is much slower. That said, they are securely generating massive free cash flow of over $1.4 billion a year. This money is used to fuel a growing dividend and share repurchases. $400 to $500 million have been used recently in annual share repurchases. That results in a 3 to 4% annual reduction in share count. Over the long term, that has a massive impact on the ownership, value, and returns of Globe Life stock for investors. The Globe Life dividend has been growing on an annual basis since 2009. The 10-year compound annual growth rate of the dividend is 6.6%. The most recent increase was 6.67%, with the prior being 8.43%. What's so impressive about the GL dividend is how low the payout ratio is. The annual dividend payment as a percentage of free cash flow is only 5%. That is insanely low. Based on net income, the payout ratio is only 8%. There is significant room to grow the dividend continue high share repurchases and reinvest into their business operations. Despite the low payout ratio, the stock price crash in GL stock has actually given it a respectable dividend yield. With a forward-looking annual dividend of 96 cents per share, the current dividend yield is 1.62%. Historically speaking, that is the highest starting dividend yield since 2009. So is Globe Life stock a buy after the recent crash? Well, it depends. Assuming that the fuzzy Panda report is overstated, then this is a no-brainer great value. However, even if a lot of it is accurate, the level of fraud does not necessarily reach the scale of this recent stock crash. For example, they claim that 60% of AIL's 2023 new ALP came from sales teams known to be rife with bad actors. This does not mean that all of this is actually fraud as it tries to allude. There is phrasing like that throughout the report. That said, it does bring many real questions about the quality of Globe Life's business and management. At a minimum, this is a company that likely needs reorganization and a culture shift. You definitely do not want to be buying Globe Life stock at a premium valuation. You don't want to pay up for this one. So am I buying Globe Life stock? Well, insurance is one of my weaker areas of expertise. I am not fully informed on how unique some of these practices are to Globe Life and not occurring across the industry. I also don't have a good feel for what the potential risk, lawsuit, or government interventions could be. There is a lot of unknown. Financially speaking, GL stock seems to be a no-brainer buy. I'm still considering whether I'll add it to my personal portfolio as I make this video. If you want to see which stocks I have in my dividend growth portfolio, then watch my recent portfolio update. This is part of a monthly series updating viewers on my investment journey. Please leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel to watch future stock analysis videos. Sign up for dividenddata.com if you want to use the research tool I've been showing throughout. If the software helps you identify just one better investment, then it more than pays for itself. Thanks for watching.